Welcome, everybody, to another day of Rev Talk. We've got an interesting discussion today. We've decided to bring up our card readings. What type of card decks are out there, what they mean to you or mean to us, and see if anybody else has any meanings of what they mean to them. Take it away, Reverend Kim.
Hello. So before we start, I would just like to preface this whole thing by saying we do not worship at the altar of the tarot or the oracle cards or anything like that. We do not. These cards, whether they're tarot cards or they're oracle cards or whatever they are, they're a tool. They're a tool to be used to help us tap into our intuition when sometimes we might be a little stuck or a little blocked and looking for an idea or looking for some inspiration. So I just wanted to put that out there in the very beginning that, these are a tool to be used. And that's
an excellent thing to remember. They are strictly a tool to connect us with our inner self. Everyone has that power.
You're absolutely right. They do. They absolutely do. Sorry about that. I had to, somebody getting in touch with me all of a sudden. I don't hear anybody forever and no coincidences.
That's right.
So I did have somebody ask me once, very recently asked me about, they said, "Oh, you pulled a tarot card." And I was like, "No, I pulled an oracle card." I'm like, "What's the difference?" And I was like, "Okay." So I have here a beautiful deck, the Archangel Power Tarot cards, and they are beautiful. They really are. For me, tarot is a bit intimidating. There are a lot of cards. There's a hierarchy there. You've got the major arcana, which goes from 0 to 20, I think, or and those have specific meanings. And then you have the minor arcana, and there are 4 separate. I don't know what you want to call them, but each one has a different season or a different meaning. One is a different element that it deals with, and it gets into an awful lot. And sometimes I think my little pea brain just can't grasp all of that. So for me, oracle cards, like the one I think we pulled before, like this one's the Queen of the Moon Oracle. And I like using that one because there's affirmations in there as well. Those decks, the oracle decks for me, is a more free-flowing way for me to tap into my intuition or to get answers or messages just with a simple word or a picture, something like that. And then, of course, you and I were both talking, the forest phase is the teeny weeny deck, which we really like. And that, again, also a little picture, a little phrase, something that kind of jump starts the intuition to help us bring about a story. Or
you immediately feel from those cards because they're happy cards.
Yes. And the tarot has had so much history to it. And like I said, it can be intimidating for me because there's some part of me that thinks, oh, I have to follow the rules with this. I have to know what all of this means. And I think probably that doesn't really need to hold true. I could pull a card just like any of the others, but I think because of the word tarot attached to it, kind of, that's a stigma.
That's the tone.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know you have some decks that you really like to use.
I don't know how I started, but with the tarot, that was one thing in my family history of my spiritual things they stayed away from. And I never entered into that realm. I never studied it. And on my spiritual journey, I started working with angels. Angels have always been around me. I've been connected to them. I went to spiritual churches that would give mediums, would give you messages from the past over and your angels that were with you. And it's just something that I've always done. So I started with Doreen Virtue, and I still think she had some wonderful teaching. She taught me how to begin my readings, but then I branched out, like you said, and I found a deck, the Crystal Mandolin, and I haven't even opened it. But what I found, the card has to speak to you on some level to give you a message and to verify, because we all doubt that we're not intuitive. We read the oracle book, and 9 out of 10 times it's right on. So during class, when we were learning how to do the mastery, I found I liked the ones we did because they gave 3 steps. And 3 is a magic number. It could be spiritual, mental, emotional. Didn't have an affirmation, but along those lines, it took you for past, present, future, depending upon the deck. And I like that because they overlapped. There was always something that carried to the next one that went to the next one. And this is what I like about it. Having seen that you have a deck now that does an affirmation, one of the ones I'm doing now, I'm doing from one of the Sheetal contractor for chakra balancing. And she has an affirmation for each chakra. And she gives you a list and you pick the ones you want. And I'm finding I really like an affirmation. And I just noticed in the Crystal Mandela that she has an action step to take you one step further after you have the card. And that again comes down with the crystals that relate to the body and what the body needs at that time. So no matter what deck you take, it's how you interpret it. And it is no affront to any religious organization because it's bringing it back to you and what you feel. And all of us use them, particularly if we've had a bad day or have a problem. We go to the card to see, oh, give me some insight. It alleviates the pressure and the down feelings we have by seeing there's someone higher up than us that has ways out of this, roads to take, and you were allowed to choose those roads.
Right. Yes, absolutely. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I mean, I remember when we were taking our our classes and we weren't to use the books. We were to use our own intuition because that's a muscle just like anything else that we exercise and use. And the more you use it, the better you become at it. And I like that. And yes, going to a card gives you a focus, because sometimes when we get so overwhelmed, we're all over the place. Pulling a card gives you a focus on where to start with your intuition, where to start, what to look out for. Like if you pull a card in the morning, oh, what is it going to be today? Oh, okay. And then look for the little synchronicities that happen throughout the day that kind of help you along.
It builds your confidence all the way up.
Yes.
And I think not using the books helps more than anything because there is no right or wrong.
Right. Right. Well, and again, and I will say there are times when I'm looking at a card, I'm like, I'm getting nothing. So I'll look in the book and I'll be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Or there are other times when I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't like that answer. I'm pulling another.
Yes. You don't want to, it's like me, it's telling me you have to set your boundaries. The exercise is still going to keep coming to you until you do it. I don't want to do it. I can't do it. It's too hard. And you know it, but you can't get around it. There's no way that it's going to be there, So
That's
And
true.
that's what cards are for. They're fun, they're entertaining, and they sure help you on your spiritual journey.
Absolutely. Yes, they do. And so, not, again, like you had said, the deck should speak to you as to whether it's the artwork, whether it's the messages, whether it's something you'll know because you'll be drawn to it. And that's a good thing. It's like don't be discouraged or you know weirded out something. Go with that because it's all inside of you to help you along. It's not, again, it is a tool to be used. It is not, not worshiping the tarot. No, no, that's not it.
It's strictly for connection to your inner self.
And have fun with it, like you said.
Mhm.
It's fun.
It is, they're fun.
Absolutely. And
They,
and again, the more you use it, the more you learn and the more confidence you have and the better you get at it. The more you would just be like, oh, okay, all right, what's this one today? Great. You know, that's how that
yeah.
works. So
I remember Vanessa was telling me, she goes, I just happened to be having coffee. I think it was in a coffee shop, and she was playing with her cards, and the lady asked her, why don't you do a reading? And now she's doing readings there, and she never ever wanted to do it.
is she really? Oh my gosh, that's
It's
wonderful.
so because people come back and are so thankful. All you're doing is giving them an avenue to see the light out of the tunnel, and
And again, it's a tool to
yes,
help you intuit for somebody else some message of hope, some message of joy, some message of light and love that's going to help them and you,
that's right.
So I love that. I love that.
People forget that when you're giving messages or when you're looking at your card in the morning or whenever you do, that's a message for a lot of people, not just you. And something during the day will come up and show you that.
Oh, I love that. That's so true.
Mhm.
So very true.
Yes.
I love that. So my dear,
I am complete
are you
because
complete?
we are introducing what oracle cards are about. All types, all kinds. They're only to connect you and a tool to bring you closer to your inner self.
That's beautiful. Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you to the texts I got, asking, and thank you for everybody for supporting us. We really appreciate it. And again, we will end this by saying now to remember to be kind to yourself and to be gentle with yourself. And remember that you are unique in all the universe. There will never be another just like you in all of space and time. You are powerful, you are cherished, and you are loved. And without you, the song of the universe would be incomplete. Until next time, my friends, be well.